G'day, I'm Adam David Collins, and this is my live stream for Camp NaNoWriMo in April 2017. And today is the 1st of April, so this is day 1 of camp. Alright, so I did this last year in November during the full NaNoWriMo, and it was a bit of fun. So I thought, because I'm doing Camp NaNoWriMo this month, I'll kick it off with another live stream. I'm not sure how often I will do these, but I may do them occasionally. Yeah, so this month I will be writing episode 5 of Jewel of the Stars. During November last year I wrote episodes 3 and 4. So the goal for NaNoWriMo is to write 50,000 words in a month. In Camp NaNoWriMo you set your own goals. And so I'm going to set the more modest goal of writing a single episode in the month, which will be about 25,000 words. So a little bit easier to manage. It's still going to be tough because there's just a lot going on in life at the moment, but I figured it's always a fun experience and there's going to be other people doing it, so it's a good motivation to see what I can get done. I haven't written a great deal lately. I've been in revision mode, preparing to publish episode 1 of Jewel of the Stars, so I'm looking forward to that. So a little bit of housekeeping things, but these are cool things. So my Medieval Mars book, Lanessa's Curse, is currently free on Amazon. So $0 here. So this is this story was published in the Medieval Mars anthology, but it's available as a standalone, and you can get it free here on Amazon for the next couple of days. Now, John Del Arroz gave me a shout out in his book blast just today. So he's mentioned Lanessa's Curse, which is really cool, and it kind of coincides really nicely with this free promotion that I'm doing. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Now this one, which is even more exciting, is that I recently had another story published in Superheroes, the Crossover Alliance Anthology, Volume 3. So these guys put out an anthology every year. This is the first one they've done that has been themed, and there are 11 stories by 11 different authors, and they're all about superheroes. So let's have a quick look at a trailer. So there you go, that was a very nice trailer put together by the Crossover Alliance for the story. So if you like superheroes, like I do, then you might want to check out the Crossover Alliance Anthology Volume 3. Alright, so here we are. We're doing Camp NaNoWriMo. So when you do camp, you get assigned to a cabin, or you can join a cabin. I'm in a cabin with a group of mates from Christian Writers Down Under. You see here, I'm making a few comments on the board there. So it's just a good little bit of community. Makes it a bit more fun because you're doing it with other people. So, yes, today is the first day, and I am completely unprepared. I don't have a completed outline. I haven't even properly finished mapping out the major plot points. So, I'm not in a great place to start. So, I'm just going to dive in. I find it very difficult writing without an outline. Outlines very much empower me in my writing process. I mean, I don't have nothing. I have been working on it, I have been thinking about it. I've got a general idea of where I'm going. And I will be completing the outline as I go in the early stages of the month, which will make things a bit easier as the month goes on. But I do know what I need to write today. I've got a reasonably clear picture of what's going on in the beginning here. And I've got an overall idea of where the story goes. And, you know, for a pantser, someone who writes by the seat of their pants, what I have would be more than enough for them. So let's head on over to Scrivener. So as you can see, I've created a brand new project here. So a completely empty slate. So let's add our first scene here. And we'll get rid of that one because we don't need it. Right. And we are starting this one with a little flashback. It's going to be an interesting flashback. I don't do a lot of flashbacks in the story, but in this case, I think it's useful. So we have a new character here. His name is Tadashi Jima. Messing up my own character's name. Yeah, so this is going to be our new passenger of the episode that we introduce. This guy and his wife Miyu have already appeared in the story. They both had a cameo in episode 1, where one of the main characters of that story and of the whole story, Braxton White, is in a bar, and he sits next to them and meets them briefly. So I like to try and give those little kind of cameos of future characters in that way. So we are exploring the ruins on Kepler 22b, which unfortunately sounds like it may not have a rocky surface. When I first decided this was going to be the planet that this particular plot point happens on, it had kind of been, I don't know if it was newly discovered, but anyway, they said it was a good candidate for you know, possibly being able to support life, or at least be somewhat Earth-like. But I had a look recently, and they say that it may not actually be a rocky planet. It may just be a gassy planet, which kind of sucks, but I'm just going to keep going with it for the moment. So I made brief mention of Kepler 22b in episode 1. When Jewel of the Stars begins, humanity has no contact with aliens, but they do know that there are, or at least have been, aliens in the galaxy because they found ruins on this planet in the past. And we're flashing back to that moment in human history where they discover these ruins. And this character, Tadashi, is there at the time. He's an archaeologist. I apologize if I'm pronouncing this name wrong to anyone who is either Japanese or knows Japanese. Yes, I will have to check out the pronunciation just to make sure I do have it right. Alright then. I think I'm just going to jump straight in to this now. Let's, 135%. Make it a little bit bigger. We'll go 200. Yeah, that'll do. Alright. I was going to have these guys in spacesuits, now that I think about it. I'll probably change these names. I just need a name of some sort. And yes, Logan was at the cinemas recently. I haven't seen it, but I needed a random name and it came to me. Alright, so Tadashi is here on the planet with a partner, and they're on their way in to have a look at what they can find. Oh, cliche alert. As far as I can see, there's a better way of writing that. Oops. Uh, 45. Yeah, so I need to write 833 words per day. Right. Descriptions. Descriptions are my weak point. Excuse me. Just what you wanted to see. Live video of me blowing my nose. Hay fever sucks. My main allergy is dust, which means I get it all year round, which is fun. Alright, so there's a very rough draft of a first scene. So that's basically what I was wanting to accomplish, establishing that this character was there at this historic moment when they discovered the ruins on an alien planet. So we're now going to flash back to the present. So we'll create a new scene for that. Okay. So in Tanashi's point of view again. So as I understand, in my extremely limited knowledge of Japanese culture, this idea of having purpose in your life is very important to them. I have a friend who is into anime, and he was telling me a little bit about this kind of concept. So I thought that was an interesting basis for a character, particularly in this story. Now, these passengers were going on a cruise. It was going to be like a week long. And when Earth was invaded, they weren't able to go home. So now they're stuck out in unexplored space, roaming around, basically on the run, just trying to survive. And he's here stuck on a cruise ship. And he can't get home, and he's got nothing to do, really, but just sit around and, go to the bar, go to the swimming pool. And I think a lot of the characters, the passengers on this ship, are going to be getting pretty antsy at this point. It's like, what do I do with the rest of my life now? There's not a lot I can do to contribute. And that, of course, is going to change as they're going to realise that everyone's going to have to do something to help the ship run. And that's going to be a little part of the discovery over this in the next episode, is that, we have to start building a civilization on this ship, and everyone's going to have to do their part to help us survive. And we need to give people purpose, because otherwise they're just going to curl up and just kind of line a ball and have nothing to do. So I'm using this character to kind of begin exploring that idea. And that will become important in these last 2 episodes of the season. So I'm pretty close to reaching my daily word count goal, which is cool. So we will have a quick look at this scene. Right, there's the first hint that, well, apart from the 30 years ago, but we're showing now that he's gone from being a young man to being retired. This word, Yukige, basically means purpose or reason for being. Yeah, a reason for being. Sorry, I just switched to that, but you didn't see it. Yeah. So, a Japanese concept meaning a reason for being. I cannot spell today to save my life. But that's alright. You're allowed to not be able to spell when you're writing a first draft. Alright, so there's my first two scenes. That is my first chapter. So we establish the character and establish a bit of world building. We see that important moment from the history of this universe. And then we react. We see the dilemma that Tadashi is facing. And he makes a decision that he's going to go out and find a new purpose. And that decision leads to his goal in his next scene. But before we come back to him, we will be cutting to another character, which will most likely be Captain Les Miller. And we'll see what's going on with the command staff of the ship. We'll learn that we're still on our way to the sanctuary that Yintol told him about a couple of episodes ago. And the story will move on from there. Tadashi is going to find a purpose. He's going to be quite an important character in this episode. And it will tie back into this whole thing. I'm not just doing this for the heck of it. We will be discovering an alien artifact floating in space. And it will be related to the species that created this city. Which will be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So, let me just bring up the... where is it? I've forgotten where it lives. Project targets. Now, you won't be able to see this pop-up window. But, I have managed to write 1,238 words today. So, I've met my goal and gone a little over, which is good. I'm quite happy with that for day one. I've got a lot going on today. Going out for lunch with my family and my parents. We're going to have an early celebration for my birthday, which is on Tuesday. And then we're going to come back and we're going to be doing some tidying up work here in our garage and around our house. So lots going on today, so I really wanted to get onto this and make sure I had my words written this morning before we got started with all of that. So, yes, I am quite pleased with all of that. So if you've stuck with me this far, first of all, I'm amazed because you've just sat there watching me type, which is pretty incredible. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I may see you again at some point. And don't forget, if you're interested in superheroes, the Crossover Alliance Anthology Volume 3 is out. It's available for Kindle, paperback. It's on Kobo, it's on Barnes & Noble. It will soon be coming to other places as well, like Apple. So, yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to get a copy of it if you are so interested. See you next time.